this is a move towards a professional kind of system in the lower tiers of Australian football, and hopefully better contracts in the A-League. G'day Couch Critics, it's Sogg and Brad. We're back again with another episode, and today we're going to be chatting about a new development in Australian football. Football Australia has announced a modern and progressive domestic transfer system is kind of on its way. A big step forward has been made. The removal of the cap on transfer fees for contracted players. It's a bit of a mouthful. Essentially, transfer system is coming in proper. Not quite for the A-League yet, so we're going to get onto that in just a second.
Anyway, well, thanks for joining us for another video. Please give us a like. Please give us a share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, hit us up on TikTok. You probably can't see it. Oh, no, it's coming into focus now. Hit us up on TikTok. We joined the other week. I think Samuel and I are just a few years too old for the TikTok generation. So for me, who does the TikTok, it's a bit for my head to get around. But anyway, hit us up at A-League Couch Critics.
We're not quite boomers, but close.
We're boomers when you think of the TikTok world. But anyway, let's get back into it. So from my understanding, what the old system was, say hypothetically, if I was contracted to an NPL 1 club in New South Wales and I was paid 100,000, or I was owed 100,000 on the rest of my contract, an A-League club could purchase me from that club for 50,000 for half my remaining salary. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So half of the salary or the kind of wage of a player was the transfer fee. So that was for an A-League club trying to buy a player who was contracted in an NPL club, but same for NPL clubs at each other as well. So that there was a compensation kind of needed. Yeah. But you could approach a contracted player. And really what that led to is just really small contracts. You know, NPL, it's like lower leagues of England. You see players really only play for a season or two and then they move on. There's a trial process rather than players really being contracted. And so it just creates a bit of turnover, and there's no stability in squads because your player could be poached really at any point. And particularly for A-League clubs who have a lot of money, or some of those big NPL clubs who are well backed, to sign another player really wasn't that difficult to pay for. So as well, NPL players really aren't on huge salaries. They're part-time professionals. So I think this is a move towards a professional kind of system in the lower tiers of Australian football, and hopefully better contracts in the A-League when this gets kind of implemented there as well.
Yeah, it definitely seems a good progression from the old model, because like we said with that example, a really good player being bought for what would have been a lot less, we're talking maybe 1,000, couple thousand, is an absolute steal. Like, it really benefits the A-League clubs, and now this kind of move is really going to benefit the selling clubs, because, you know, they basically agree whatever wage they want to do. So if they want to agree that old mate, well, he wouldn't be old mate, young mate at Marconi is worth $300,000, Wanderers, MacArthur, Sydney FC pay that, and that's a good amount of money for Marconi. Hypothetically, that's the team we're choosing in this scenario, that they can go and then invest back into their club for more pokie machines at Club Marconi, or upgrading their football facilities. It's a good move, and if a club wants to become a selling club and benefit from this money, they could do that. So go on.
They could also put the money, maybe perhaps, it might be a good idea, towards reducing the fees for junior players.
Yeah. I mean, that
wild idea.
Yeah, and imagine like $100,000 transfer fee.
Yeah,
you surely would think that would cover the costs of all the junior fees at that club and have plenty left over.
Yeah.
And these old sorry, go on.
Well, the potential good is huge, right? It could really change the way Australian football is funded. You know, maybe not from the government side, but yeah, we start building a bit of an ecosystem. I think is the word James Johnson kind of uses lots. Start building this ecosystem and put money through the game. It actually does allow clubs at this lower level to, not only pay for their juniors maybe, but to develop their fields. If we're looking towards a second division, actually helps them put money towards getting to that ground that can hold 5,000 people, the potential good is really good.
Yeah. And with the money, they could upgrade these potential old stadiums. I mean, some of these stadiums that are used in the NPL really haven't been upgraded since they were built, or not for 20 years. Places like Marconi Stadium or Sydney Croatia Sports Centre, like, money could be used to upgrade it. So it's great future potential in theory. Whether, there is a massive signing from an NPL club remains to be seen. But, it's an exciting development. And I assume the next progression is the transfer fee between A-League clubs. When will that come? Well, who knows? But I think this move is probably the more important one because there's a lot more benefits to NPL clubs. But you assume the transfer between A-League clubs will be soon.
Yeah, look, I think you said in theory, and that's the thing I am potentially worried about, that this actually doesn't affect anything. If Marconi slap a price like 300,000 on a 22-year-old striker who's banging in goals, does the A-League just look at that and go, we'll just get someone cheaper or go somewhere else? Will the A-League clubs actually pay those fees? That's what I'm worried about, that it actually doesn't change anything. And we are seeing players move from NPL into the A-League, but not in huge numbers, particularly now that all the A-League clubs have their NPL club like equivalents playing in their systems. I think clubs are trying to develop their own players. So, I don't know if it does work. It definitely allows for longer contracts. Trying to move some of these NPL teams towards professional kind of football. I think it's envisioning a second division actually happening. Because then if you sign somebody on a 4-year contract, then you've actually got them there for a while, and rather than just sign them on 1-year contracts. So it kind of, it allows clubs to give some security to their playing squad, because the way things work at the moment, well, if the transfer fee is that low, I mean, you'd rather get it than not, but the player's like, well, I'll just sign a 1-year contract, and then at the end, if someone wants me, I'll go for free. That's the way a transfer system kind of works at the moment. And so, it puts the power back in the club's kind of side rather than the player's side. And I think, I just don't know in practice how it will work until there's actually a transfer system also in the A-League. That's my worry, that it kind of falls down when it's not included in the A-League. And so we kind of need to see it go that way as well. The article that was linked was also pretty sneaky about how it worded things. And it wasn't until like one of the last paragraphs that it said, and we're hoping to get this into the A-League. This isn't for A-League clubs. This is just NPL
between
clubs
A-League clubs,
and A-League clubs to NPL clubs. So, look, whether or not, I wonder how it works the opposite way. If an NPL club wanted to try and purchase an A-League player, I assume it has to work that way as well.
Yeah, I assume it would. It's just they wouldn't have as much money as we would. But there's still financial benefit to any team. The Wanderers will be offloading quite a few players, and if they're still under contract, they might be able to get a bit of money out of it. I couldn't imagine too many NPL clubs being able to afford much, to be honest. But it's definitely more of a benefit for the NPL clubs.
Yeah, I think what it is it's it's part of this progression towards connecting the pyramid. I think this is another step in that right direction. A second division, a professional national second division, really would go hand in hand with this kind of thing. And then if we could see some linking towards the A-League, I think it could be massive. So props to FFA, or to Football Australia, sorry. They actually are working on what they said they were going to work on. That's good to see. But yeah, there's still work to do, obviously, in Australian football.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Sweet.
Any NPL players off the top of your head that you think could demand a transfer fee?
Oh gosh, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't really watch NPL. I mean, I haven't got anything against NPL. If you want to go watch NPL, that's fine. I mainly watch the A-League, and I mainly watch our competition out near Bathurst called the Western Premier League. So I don't know. You might have a bit more insight to me than some of the players running around the NPL. I don't really pay much attention to.
I did watch Daniel Georgieski playing.
I don't think anyone will be paying for him. Too. Yeah. And you said he had a bit of a shocker, didn't he?
Wasn't his best performance.
He's there for a laugh. He's probably there getting a fit.
He was not laughing. He was pretty serious.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, look, I think there are some players. Potentially, it means. I wonder what the A-League clubs do with their players who are down in those NPL levels. If someone else comes in for them at that NPL level, what that means. You know, Patrick Wood, who's really kicking off in Sydney's NPL team, not really playing for the first team. What if Marconi come in for him and want to, you know, can Sydney demand a transfer fee and vice versa? So could be interesting. To see what happens there.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to leave a like and let us know, what you think of this domestic transfer system. Do you think it's actually going to work? What are your great visions for a domestic transfer system in Australia? And if you're new, be sure to subscribe if you've enjoyed. Plenty more content like this coming out in the following weeks. All right.
Cool.
See you later.
See you around.